Okay, let's start talking about scale questions here. And the neat thing about scale questions is eventually you're going to have to go back to old faithful proportions. And this is one of the reasons why I taught you proportions in an earlier podcast. So don't forget about proportions. If you don't know how to do proportions, go back to that earlier podcast and figure it out. If not, come see me. We'll go figure it out together. Okay, so here's what we got. We got a scale question. Read what it says. It says, on a map with a scale of 1 to 4,750,000. What a huge number. What does that actually mean? 1 is to 4,750,000. What is that? Well, surprisingly enough, that's in inches. This is your map here. And this is reality, because what they're trying to tell you here is that 1 inch in the map is 4,750,000 inches in reality. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, well, why don't they just say 1 inch is, 4 miles or something like that? Well, it's because of that conversion factor. And the cool thing about this kind of relationship that you see here is 1 is to 4,750,000 is that not only works for inches, that also works for centimeters to centimeters as well. That's the cool thing, and that's why they leave it as this kind of an ugly looking scale, because you can either convert it in inches and do imperial almost instantly, or you can convert it from centimeter to centimeter, and you can do this almost instantly in metric, okay? So that's kind of the reason why. Now, why are these centimeters, or inches and inches? Why it all cancels out, and it's true, it does cancel out. Come see me, I'll show you exactly why. But for now, let's just leave it, and then we can go on here. Now, let's read the question again. So on this map with this particular scale, the distance between Seward and Anchorage, Alaska is 1 3/4 inches. So think about this. 1 3/4 inches, that's got to be your map. The reason why is take a look at a typical map, which is on a sheet of paper. A typical map is 8.5 inches by 11, just like your typical sheet of paper, right? It's 8.5 by 11. There's no way in heck 4,750,000 inches can fit on that map. No, I don't think so. So what we've got here is we've got 1 3/4 inches. So let's convert that 1 3/4 inches into a decimal. That's 1.75. Now, why is it 0.75? Well, think about it. 3/4, if you think about common sense, 3/4 is 75 cents, right? Okay. Or you can turn around and you can say, okay, if it's not that obvious, go 3 divided by 4 on your calculator and you get your 0.75. That's where the 0.75 comes from. So 1.75 has got to be where? Is that reality or is that your map? Well, read the question again. It says the distance on this map is 1 3/4. So leave these in proportions. That's 1 3/4, 75. Okay, you want to know what is the distance in reality. There we go. So we'll put an X there. Now you're probably saying to yourself, well, where's the equation? I don't see an equation. I don't see an equal sign. How can we do this? Real simple. All you have to do is anytime that you're given one of these guys here, anytime you're given one of these guys, you can convert this directly into an equal sign. Check this out. 1 inch on a map equals to 4,750,000 in reality. So you're asking yourself then this. 1 million or 1 inch is 4,750,000 inches in reality. What is 1.75 on your map? Because this is all your map here. What is 1.75 in reality? And there's your proportion. All you have to do now, real simple, cross multiply, our favorite tool in the world. 1 times x is x. 1.75 times this. Well, I can't do that in my head, so I'm going to pull up the calculator here. Turn this guy on. Okay? I got 1.75 times 4,750,000. Boom. I got 8312500. 8312500. And think about that. What is that in? Well, I was 1.75 inches. That means I just figured out this. 8,312,500 inches in reality. Now, think about this. If somebody comes up to you, asks you, says, oh, how far is it to the next town? Do you tell them 8,312,500 inches? No, you actually want to convert it to the nearest mile. And that's what the question asks here, right there. It says convert this to the nearest mile. So let's go to town here. Let's convert this into the nearest mile. Now, I have our nice little conversion table sitting right here. Okay, so let's use it. Now, think about this for a second. 8,312,500 inches has got to be converted into miles. Now, I'm going to use that same method I love using, dimensional analysis. So once you've done proportions here, you can go back and use dimensional analysis because this is a multi-step question. So let's use the dimensional analysis right now. Now, in an earlier podcast, I think I used conversion and I went from inches into feet first and then into miles. For this particular one, I'm going to convert this into yards, okay? So I'm going to use this one here. 1 yard is 36 inches. Let's use that one, and then eventually you'll see the conversion, what I'm going to do later on. Okay, so dimensional analysis tells us inches on the bottom, yards on the top, okay? And you know in 1 yard, there are 36 inches. So in fact, when you do this calculation, you're going to divide by 36. The next step then is to get rid of yards and convert that into miles. Well, yards and miles, oh, right below it, right there. There it is. 1 mile is 1760 yards. Okay, and that's going to give us a wonderful little answer. Now, let's get rid of this guy here because we don't need it anymore. Let's get rid of him. And let's pull up our calculator. Okay, here comes Mr. Calculator. There it is. So I still got the 8,312,500 in my calculator. I know each one of these steps here and here means to divide. So, okay, let's divide this guy right out. So let's divide first by 36. Okay, we have that, and then divide again by 1760. And we're going to have that. Check this out. Watch what happens. I have 131 miles. How do I know this is miles? Because dimensional analysis is beautiful. It shows us the cancellation here, and it shows the cancellation here, and the only thing that's left is our miles. So I have 131 miles here for this particular calculation. A very, very nice calculation dealing with scale. I'm going to do another one right away just to show you in the next podcast, okay? But it's an excellent way of describing how to use scale, proportions, and dimensional analysis. You can't get a better question than this.